Okay, and yeah, that's us on a screen. Actually, yeah, you should wave. So, um, I've forgotten how to do stream intros because I haven't done one in a long time. So,
Who are you and what are we doing here?
that's good questions. Can you answer them for me?
Okay, well, you're
No.
no, I'm not gonna. No, you have to do it. You have to do it. You.
All right, fine. I am Diane. You can also call me Balrog1911 because that's the username I go by. I sometimes appear on the internet with my face, otherwise known as streaming. I have not been doing this for a while because life decided otherwise without my express permission. It was very annoying, but I am lucky enough to be back with these wonderful people, and we are going to be doing a sci-fi themed one shot in which we are going to be playing Dark Matter, which is basically a sci-fi reskin of 5th edition D&D. Um, it's going to be a lot of fun. I have cooked up with with some help a fun little scenario for these people that may or may not involve a little bit of spookiness because my grubby little hands got onto it, and you know what happens when that combines. So, yeah, I will be, of course, running the game today. During the course of this game, we are trying to raise funds for World Central Kitchens, so there is a handy little donate command. Audio is a bit low, says kitchen. Hang on. This has sometimes been an issue with my own microphone. Let's just turn up the gain a bit and see what happens. Hopefully not deafening my players or any of the viewers. Anyway, as you can see there in the command, there are going to be little milestones along the way. I've only cooked up a few of them because, less to keep track of. So once we reach the first $50, then the players will get a little boon from me. And if we reach 150, then the environment will get a little more dangerous for them. If we reach 300, everybody gets inspiration. Yeah. And I had to be vague about this one. I tried to find a good way to phrase it. At 500, something immaterial will become material. So that's kind of the long shot,
I really hate the sound of that.
Is that our fears? Like, wait, what?
I love that I have enough of a reputation that all I have to do is say that and you instantly think, oh my god, our fears are going to eat us. That's beautiful.
That's my everyday. I don't have time for that in gaming. Oh.
You're about to get a tech support call from somebody who's never used Windows.
Oh, Mom.
All right. And that's kind of the setup. We're going to try and get this done in a somewhat orderly fashion, but as you've probably already seen, the hopes are fading fast. Send help. But at this point, I am going to say, let's go on. Let's see. Let's just go clockwise in order of the overlay, which means Dame, you get to introduce yourself first and tell us who you are and what your character give us just a rough what your character is playing, and also as part of that introduction, one trinket that your character has on them.
Wow, calling me out. Okay. I forgot to write my inventory. So hi, I'm Dame Darling. I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I have been trying to get into more D&D and tabletop stuff recently, but mostly I play video games or do art. My phone is ringing. Why? Okay. My character is Sky or Skylin. It is a Star Elf. I think that's what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Sky Elf. Sorry.
No, Star Elf.
Star Elf. Okay.
Yes.
Star Elf. I wrote it down wrong. Hey, I'm great at this. And it is the School of Automata, which gives her access to some cool stuff, like drones. And she is a wizard who really, really wished she could be a healer.
Okay.
A trinket I have, my drones. It's not actually a trinket.
No, it isn't. But
that's
you
what
can
I
come
got.
up with something later. You can also just make something up on the spot, which is what this is supposed to be doing to you. Excuse me.
She has a very small unicorn plushie that she carries with her everywhere.
Perfect. That's the kind of information I wanted. That brings us next up to Level Up Lady.
Hello. My character's name is Nano. I am a Vect technologist gunslinger. Which will be very interesting to play. I love all the guns I have, apparently, and have a lot of fun tech knowledge. The trinket or item I have is a broken piece of machine. Just in my pocket.
Okay.
Just there. But yeah, I am Level Up Lady. I am a variety streamer. I do a bunch of indie games, AAA games. Sometimes we'll do crafting, sometimes we'll do cooking, but it just depends on what we feel like.
I mean, that's the way to go. Next up, if you can see or hear us, please give a response. Thom.
I can see and hear you fine. For the moment, anyway. Vision may degrade over time. I am Thom. I stream here on Twitch occasionally these days, as under Only Thom Will Tell. And I am playing Rye, who is an amoeboid infiltration rogue. And is basically a sort of amorphous being that's vaguely humanoid shaped. For a trinket, it's a little difficult to kind of carry a trinket when you don't have any pockets, but I have a burned out sort of circuit board that I keep with me for reasons.
Okay. And then bring it around. Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian, aka Urban Bohemian. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch. I am playing Helios, who is an Avia Ra, and they are sort of like bird head human body people. It's weird, but don't make it weird, it's fine. And their trinket is they are carrying a piece of a prism that is burned out from someone trying to view the sun through it.
Okay. When you say burned out, as in just like it's been sort of like cracked and...
Yes, it was the exact proper angle to view the sun, and it and the viewer... You know what? I just have the remnants of the prism, and let's not talk about the rest.
Okay. Yep. No, we don't gotta dig into that. It's cool. Well, that tells us who we are. Shall we get into where we are and what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. Long-range deep space missions are legendarily boring. Especially when you are expected to carry out your mission without making use of your dark matter engine without being able to traverse large distances in short hops. You are expected to carry out a long range and ergo long term survey. A large amount of space in the galaxy has been charted, and while it's generally reliable information, the fact is that things change, and if a survey has reached a certain age, it needs to be redone to ensure that trade lanes and other known safe routes can continue to be labeled as such, or if they cannot, be sent out a warning. So your job is fairly boring, unfortunately. It has been rather monotonous. Someone has sat at the scanners and watched it scan with the same damn results over and over and over. And then you change shifts, and the next person gets to enjoy the beauty of watching the results over and over. Your ship is reasonably equipped, which is to say, since you're on a long voyage with little contact and not really many opportunities to rest elsewhere, which is to say, not many stops on planets or way stations or such, it is equipped with at least some bits of comfort. You have a rec room. In case of injuries, you have a bit of a very small medical suite. Each of you has your own quarters, sparse, but you at least have a private room to yourself. The main shared space really is either the rec room or the bridge and helm controls, which there's enough space there to fit 3 of you. It was never really meant for all of you to be in there at the same time, because it's not expected. At this point, I'm just gonna go ahead and ask, just at random, does anyone want to volunteer for scanner duty?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. That was fast. You are sitting at the scanner and nothing. Just a lot of nothing. Your sensor sweeps come back and everything is where it should be. Everything is where you think it will be. Everything is reported frustratingly normal. And as your attention begins to wane a little bit, there's suddenly a bring! Alert, alert, bring! Alert, alert.
Can I tell what the alert is? Where is it coming from?
A quick glance at the screen tells you that the alert is an incoming distress signal. It is being sent as both an audio and a video option. You may choose which of these you wish to play.
Video?
Okay. You hit the you tap the screen to just tell it put up the video, and in front of you, projected in the air, flashes up a display, and you see a layout not too dissimilar to where you're sitting. The sort of a fairly standard spacefaring layout, a very sleek looking, very modern to your eyes And you being very acquainted with technology and such, actually, if you would like to give me a roll, we can get that party started. Yeah, because of
What am I rolling?
course, dark matter has some additional rolls, including the one called.
Uh-oh.
I would let you make a roll of either history or technology for this.
Oops. Technology. I have a better modifier in technology, so I'll do that. And it's just a D20 plus the skill score, right?
Correct.
So that was a 2.
Oh boy!
Oh no!
Plus 2 for the magical number of 4.
Are you not
I'm gonna go sit
proficient
in
in
the corner.
technology?
That was the better one. History was only a 1.
Oh boy. Okay. We are starting off with a really strong.
Yep, first roll of the game.
Yeah.
Tanked it for everybody.
I think at this point I'm gonna say you've been sort of kind of like trapped in this monotony for so long that the mere idea of something might be happening catches your attention far more than you're able to focus on the actual details of what you're saying. So the main thing that you can kind of tell is you're looking at a very modern, very sleek ship with, and like it looks wonderful and beautiful, and sitting facing directly into where the camera is an Aviara in like decked out in a full uniform, not in actual Aviara uniform, but sort of like in a neutral uniform that doesn't seem to belong to the Aviara factions themselves, but seems to be affiliated with. You're not quite sure. Not with that role. You're not.
Great.
Is sitting there speaking into the camera and says, "Hello. At this date, our launch is complete and our ship has left the dock. Our mission begins to chart a sector of space that has previously encountered difficulties. We seek to further understand anomalies, and as per the scientific ethos that binds our mission and creed, we strive to share our understanding for the betterment of the galaxy and all species contained therein. However, we are aware this is not without dangers. If you are seeing this message, we have encountered trouble and require your immediate assistance. Please come find us at the coordinates attached to this message. If you are seeing this message, we are in great distress. Please come help us." And then it loops.
Oops. Okay. Is there anybody in the central area there with me? Or am I solely on scanner duty by myself?
I don't know. Does anyone want to be keeping company here?
Or steering the ship or something? I don't know how it works. Are we on
Oh,
autopilot?
you've got this. You've totally got this.
I
can't
can't.
do both. I can pilot, so I will say I was piloting.
Okay.
Or staring at the autopilot, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, your attention would have been grabbed by this because it's the first thing that's actually happened in about 3 entire standard days. And the most exciting thing before that was discovering a gaseous anomaly that turned out to just be a sun flare.
How is that not exciting?
Well, after 3 days of nothing, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It was
Cosmic
exciting.
parts. So, Skylin, you heard this. It sounds like they want us to come over, and it seems like the decent thing to do. However, the danger part is worrying me a little bit. Do you have any thoughts?
It's something better than staring at this nothing. Let's go.
Okay.
Already like trying to punch in coordinates.
Speaking of which, while she is doing that, since I'm already on scanner duty, can I tell anything about this region of space where it's coming from in terms of dangers, any indications of what we're flying into?
This would require you to make. Basically, you'd have to do sort of like a focused scan into the direction of where this message is coming from. You would know this. I'm not going to ask you to make a roll to determine this. Like, the message does have a set of coordinates attached to it. You recognize these as like standard a standard set of coordinates that's universally in use, so you would know which direction to point your scanners in and try to do a focus scan. However, for that I will need an investigation roll.
Okay, that is one of my better stats. Natural 20. We're coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
For a total of 24.
That's a hell of a way to bounce back.
I feel redeemed.
Yeah, now that your attention is snapped on to the situation, now that you're like, oh yeah, now you've had your jolt of adrenaline, you're like, oh, okay, time to go to work. And once you've got that focus, it's not hard at all. You align the sensors, and at this range, it's not going to give you like precise readings, but you can determine a little bit. And the direction is somewhat out of the way of the course that you would normally be following, and you're essentially getting readings that are largely normal, with a few blips that the computer can't quite seem to explain, like a few bits and pieces that are coming back as fragmented data. It's not necessarily an uncommon thing. There's always, especially on long-range scans, there's very often going to be interference, whether that's just the natural sort of progression of being in space and having a lot of things passing at extremely high speeds and messing with the laws of physics along the way, or whether it is a genuine anomaly that you can't actually quite identify at this range, but there's something there that the computer just can't quite make sense of.
Okay.
And there is also a craft. That much you can determine.
Okay. So I highlight the craft for Skyline and say, there is definitely something going on here, but I can't tell at this range what exactly it is, or what the danger could be.
It is still better than the nothing that is that way.
I understand. I'm just letting you know as you're taking us over there.
But is there like there is a craft over there that you want me to head towards?
There's definitely a craft. There's something
Okay.
that the information coming from that area when I scan it is fragmented in a way that it seems like something's off, but I can't really hone in on exactly what's going on there. So like, sure, take us over there, but just a bit of caution.
Okay. Do we want to
Bring the rest of the crew in on this?
like I mean, I feel like I have already changed our course. We want to tell them. Maybe.
So is there I tap into whatever communication system that we have on the ship and give them the basic once over. Hey, we found some interesting stuff, but could be a little bit of an adventure. Anybody want to come up and see?
As this message goes out, what are the other two doing? How do you spend your time when you're not scanning?
So now I'm hearing this right now, right?
Yeah, like just now. The message comes out. What are you doing as that happens?
I give a robotic sigh and start deleting the to-do list that was in my head that I was making, that I do every single night because I don't sleep. And so I make a to-do list for the next day every time.
Oh boy.
Wow. Only if only we could all.
Yep. And Helios?
Helios was in his quarters, like slowly reading a liturgy, and closes the book like, "Oh, I suppose we are needed." So, and gets up and heads towards the bridge
Mm-hmm.
to see what's going on.
Alrighty. Well, with the four of you in there, the bridge gets a bit cramped, but you can fit. It's fine. You know, you might have to just squeeze in a little bit.
As an amoeboid, I kind of fold down a little bit in my seat to make more room for other
There is
people.
there is always enough room for you. There is always enough room for you, right?
Yeah.
All I need is an inch.
I have heard that before. Yes.
Oh. Why don't I have the ding sound effect? Why don't I? Yeah. Pilot, is the course laid in?
Yeah, the course is in, and
Are we all in agreement that we're going to do this? I'm now asking Helios.
Helios
and
Helios is Helios is replaying the message that Rye pulled up. Oh, well, this seems far more interesting than our current journey, so of course we should investigate, unless you want to continue on with our very detailed scanning mission.
it'll be here when we get back.
Yeah.
It's always good to add more knowledge or information banks.
And with the coordinates that were attached to the message, you have no trouble at all plotting a course and executing that. It doesn't take very long to get there if you just kind of nudge the engines a little bit. It takes maybe about an hour and a half. It wasn't very distant. The distress call didn't have that much range. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. But as you begin to approach it, and since you're in the pilot's seat, Skylin, you're also going to kind of see the sensor feed begin to get a little bit unsure. Like flying in deep space, especially with a lot of the areas essentially devoid of light, you tend to rely on sensors a lot, and visual acuity is not necessarily going to be a habit per se, because if you look out into the vast darkness of space, then eventually it gets boring to just go, yep, it's pretty damn dark in here. And you're not going to see much by looking out into absolute darkness. Your ship, being a survey ship, is equipped with what I'm going to say is the space equivalent of high beams, which is to say you send ahead of you a very concentrated stream of highly reflective particles that, as long as something is in your path up to a certain distance, it will essentially receive a light coating of these, and not only will it then ping on the sensors, it will also become visible to you. So, as you are piloting, and as you are heading into an area that was specifically being surveyed because of they wanted to figure out some anomalies, and as your sensors begin to realize there are in fact anomalies here, and the data stream is getting a bit hinky, I will ask you to make either a piloting or perception roll.
Okay.
And tell me which one you made.
I made a perception roll and got an 8.
Okay. So you're working with the sensors, but also trying to make sure that your eyes are open, because right now you get the sense that sensors aren't maybe your 100% reliable tool. And as you're flying along, all four of you suddenly feel this sort of something metallic, or something scraping along the metallic outer hull. It's a very slow effect, and until the moment, or until about a fraction of a second before impact, the sensor record shows there was nothing. And then suddenly there was something. The computer is now indicating that you have minor damage to the upper hull of your ship, caused by a hard object, scraping along.
Should we hard stop? That sounded intense.
However, we have just actually hit the first mark of $50.
Yes.
So you will get a boon.
Ooh.
I will let you know about that in a second. So carry on.
Okay.
And yes, thank you everybody for donating.
I think that so I would panic stop. And I don't that was not on the scanner. It is not my fault. I didn't do it. It did somebody else drive. And I just get up and move out of the pilot seat.
Ryan is still sitting at the scanner, kind of punching buttons and trying to figure out if he can furiously and futilely trying to see if he can scan any more information out of it while that's all going back there.
No,
I assume not getting
Skyline,
it.
please, you have piloted us here so far. You should remain. However, that seems like it was an unforeseen occurrence that is not on you.
Okay. I don't like it though.
It is.
I didn't see it either. You didn't do anything wrong.
Not a favorable encounter, no.
Should we go check the damage?
Can we check it before we go though?
Mm-hmm. That you can. You can also just run a diagnostic from where you are if you'd like to.
Yeah, computer do the thing.
That seems like the better idea.
Push the button. Make the computer do the thing.
I would like to push the what the F just happened button.
We're old school here. We go look at it with our eyeballs.
They're so accurate.
Yeah, very. Well,
especially mine.
You run a diagnostic, and the computer readout confirms that you have suffered an impact. Most likely a jagged, roughly triangular shape seems to have just cut a gash, as it were, but all it did was take off a layer of the outer plating. Your hull integrity is not compromised. The energy of your ship is not affected. Basically, at the moment, this is limited to cosmetic damage. You got lucky on this one, but as it stands, your ship is at no risk whatsoever from this particular thing. You're built for long haul missions. You essentially, like, you have a secondary hull. You're good for the moment.
Helios leans in. Computer, extrapolate the trajectory of projectiles that would cause such damage to our hull.
Extrapolating. And then it's more or less gives you a visual of, in order for this to happen, essentially something would have had to have been coming the other way.
There it is.
More or less rotating, because, like, you know, you were hit by sort of like the tip of something, so you didn't hit something head on. Like, it was sort of rotating in space and just happened to veer into you and then veer off again.
That's concerning.
But yeah, it would have been sort of more or less like a how to put it, like running a truck into a slightly too low bridge.
Rye, were there coordinates on that distress call?
The initial distress call, yes, there were. And I bring up the coordinates on the screen.
Yeah. You're not far away from them. They are more or less dead ahead, maybe 10 minutes out.
Alright.
Oi.
Wait, who said oi? What?
I said oi because the captions just died.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
no.
vanished.
Oh no!
Okay, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Level Up Lady caught it first. I was trying not to.
Oh,
interrupt
they
the
sure
thought.
did. Oh, dang it.
Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to... I may just have to ditch that, unfortunately. I'll see if I can figure it out during a break. But yes, you have a choice. Do you want to continue or do you want to turn back? This is not really a choice.
No, it seems that we've already...
Game's over. Let's go.
A few hours
Look,
of us
we
staring
had a
into nothing
boring
and
ass
then
mission,
go home.
so let's just go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 10-ish minutes away from those coordinates. My only concern is, you know, if they were in distress and their ship kind of went boom, did we just run into a piece of their ship?
Would
Well, they
you like
did-
to... I was going to say, since you are now closer, would you like to do a more comprehensive scan?
Yes.
You may again choose to do... Actually, I will let you choose whether to do technology or investigation.
Definitely investigation.
I would choose technology.
You would?
Mhm.
Because I've got a higher modifier in investigation.
Look, mine are equal, so I will help.
Okay.
Oh,
Then
okay.
you
So
assist,
then-
which means you get advantage. So roll 2 d20s and take the higher result.
In total of 19.
All right.
Thank you, Helios.
It's a bit of a concerning thing to be told that, or to hear someone theorize that, oh yeah, wait, what if a piece of the ship we're trying to rescue hit us? So you check again, and you still have sections of the readout that are garbled. But you do see, more or less dead ahead of you, since you were plotting a direct course to the coordinates, a mostly complete craft. It looks like it's missing, or rather, it looks like it's missing a sort of a piece of the left side, left wing, as you might call it.
Mm.
You don't need aerodynamics in space, but the overall shape of the craft seems to essentially be sort of like you can think of it as like a flying wing, but multi-tiered and tapering off towards the edges. It has a lot of little antennae going off the top and the bottom of it, a lot of scientific instruments designed for far more powerful and comprehensive scanning and data gathering than your ship would ever be capable of. And yeah, you can basically see like the ship is being scanned as about 3/4 complete. It is a complete ship, and then sort of the last quarter on the left side of it is just missing.
Hmm. So I point this out to everybody who's looking on the screen. What do people think? Do we want to try and board this ship, or do we want to look around it to see if we can figure out from here what caused this part to not be here anymore?
Can we scan for life forms?
There
That
you go.
part.
You can. With a 19, I will say that you have. You can read that scan and you can see there is no life form aboard that ship.
I'm sad now.
Like no viable life forms,
Define viable.
live or dead.
We're scanning for.
There's nothing
for
living
life
aboard
forms,
that
no-
ship.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, that's like okay.
That, and if I'm pushing that 19, then I'm fine with that. If this doesn't work. But with that same scan, I was scanning just for life forms. It wouldn't reveal if there were any type of remains there.
That it wouldn't.
Okay,
Mm.
fair enough.
Like,
I
your ship's equipment is less meant for that and more meant for, like, determining, like neutrino radiation spectrums and that sort of thing. You're not here to scan for population density of the planets. That's not your thing. Population surveys are a whole different set of equipment.
Okay.
We might as well go see what happened.
I think
Then.
I kind of want to loop around it and see what all we can see from different angles on the outside before we go, like, try to look on the inside.
Valid.
perhaps we can determine what happened to their vessel.
I'm game.
Okay.
Lie us around.
So I guess I'm going to actually, like, because I had just punched in coordinates to the autopilot, I'm gonna, like, actually take control and start piloting around
All right.
the.
Then in this case, I will need an actual piloting check from you. Not perception.
And that's 14.
14. Okay. This isn't particularly difficult because you know exactly where you're going, you have a scanner readout of what you're about to head to, and yeah, you begin to approach when you get to a certain distance out, or rather when you get to a certain proximity of it. At that point, not only do the sort of reflector particles that you send out ahead of you begin to actually bounce back a feed, but also you have basic lights on the ship, and you can start to put on the searchlights and begin to look ahead of you. You see the ship more or less as it appeared on the sensors. The surprise, I suppose, to everyone who saw the video of the distress call is the ship in the distress call looked pristine, neat. And the ship now looks more or less as if it had been just pulled out of a junkyard and dumped here. It looks exactly as it should form-wise, but everything on it looks to have been through about 150 years of just aging.
Wow.
And is anyone else looking out the viewports, getting a look? Because you are busy piloting, so you are keeping your eye on that. Yes, would Level Up Lady, would you care to make a perception check? Let's see
Maybe.
what Nano can see. I didn't catch it.
no.
Did you say 7?
No, I said 3.
Oh! Oh boy, that's
Ouch.
wow. I mean, it's a ship, right? No,
Wow.
which is to say, other than the fact that it looks older than you might have expected, nothing strikes you as odd. But it does not appear to be it doesn't appear to be damaged in any way.
Okay.
It hasn't you don't see any sort of like broken viewports, you don't see any bent and mangled sections of the hull. It looks fine. It's just sitting there.
Well, I rolled a 3.
Yeah.
My skill is 11.
Okay, so your total is 14 then.
Yes.
Okay, then in that case...
Sorry about that.
Sorry, I thought you meant your result was a 3. That's my...
No.
No. Okay. See, this is where the modifiers come in. So, this is good because this lets me do more. You're looking at this and you begin to think, well, there isn't any damage. What the hell kind of distress were they in? Because they don't seem to have been attacked. You don't see any you don't see any marks of laser fire, or you don't see the sort of typical electric burn marks of ionization damage or anything of the sort. And as you're looking around this and thinking, well, how did it get damaged? You then begin to realize it isn't. And also it's whole.
So were my readings off when I saw that looked like there was a piece of it missing?
Would you like to check your readings?
I would.
Your readings continue to tell you that the left quarter of the ship does not exist. Nano, your eyes tell you that the entire ship is in space, in front of you, immobile. The entire ship.
Oh, I look at Nano and I just go. and then we look at everybody else and do the same thing. What is this?
I would like, seeing that it was an Aviara who led the distress, who was on the distress call, I would like to examine the data that we received from the ship. What was the, essentially, what was the date of that pursuant to our date? Like,
Okay.
how long ago was
Yeah.
the distress call sent?
I get up and I surrender my seat and let Helios sit down and go through all that.
Oh, there's a science station. I already got this. I'm on a Spock scanner. I'm looking through like some tubes on this shit. It's good.
While they're all doing this, I would like to stop our ship.
That's a good thing. Yeah.
This is why you got the pilot. You've got the brain cell.
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
I borrowed it for a second.
All right. Helios, I'm not going to ask for a roll on this because it is essentially like it's the same as just pulling up metadata on a file. It's a case of just tapping a couple buttons and looking at the data stream. You can tell actually two things. There is an original recording date, and then there is a date of, or rather the date on which the call was activated. The original recording date is set, or rather is in the data as about 3.5 months ago. So 3.5 months ago, this ship launched. The distress call was sent out 2 days ago.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Right, your sensors say that the ship is damaged. Nano, your eyes say that the ship is not.
Right.
And Helios turns and looks. What is happening here?
Helios, could you please make a history roll for me?
Oh no, I'm not good at that.
Uh-oh.
That's a 10.
All right. A 10 is enough to let you get the sense that, like, at least parts of this seem familiar to you in design. The thing is, of course, despite the fact that your current mission is maybe a source of boredom and you drew the short stick when it came to assignments this time, you are on a scientific mission, which means you are all kind of up to date on developments in that sort of sector. You're aware of newer technologies and such, and you recognize a few bits and pieces as being, like, despite everything that appearances say, fairly like recent technological developments that are on this ship. Like one of the antennae that's poking out, you recognize as like it's a scanner designed to essentially penetrate more or less any kind of planetary mantle. So no matter the density of the metal or anything, it basically just kind of goes, I don't care, I'm going to scan you anyway. And this was notoriously difficult because, having a single scanner that would actually be able to deal with any planetary core was a bit challenging, because like you can design a scanner that'll take care of like iron and cobalt and nickel, but then what if it's cadmium instead? And it's like, no, well, that's all right, but then we have one for beryllium, and like, no, that's just
No, it just gets all up in there.
Yeah.
I get it.
And then this one
Yeah.
is just like, yeah, I'm good with anything.
Mhm.
But that wasn't
Yeah, no.
that wasn't actually developed until about 6 months ago.
So this is an advanced craft that had a, colloquially we referred to it as a down for whatever scanner for planetary surveillance.
That for some reason now looks 100 years old.
That is the question. Why? What? Because I'm sorry, you confirmed that it was like 3 months ago shipping and 2 days ago message.
Correct.
What can possibly have happened? And more importantly, where is their crew?
Yeah, and if we go over there, is it going to happen to us?
Well, does our ship have the ability to scan for life forms outside of our, like, okay, we know the ship perhaps does not have life forms. Does it have the ability to scan for survivors and aka life forms in the general area?
since we didn't specify that in the original scan, I will let you make a new roll for that.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Am I rolling or is
always.
Helios rolling?
I have a thermal sight, so when I looked out for 30 feet, I could see living or dead as well.
Let me ask you, pilot, are you getting to within 30 feet of this ship?
They tell me to.
I
I don't really
like,
want to.
In terms of like distances in space, 30 feet, you're essentially like
That is
you're smooching.
really close.
okay. No,
Yeah,
I
like
just wanted to
that's-
put that
that's
out
like-
there.
Like
That's
I wouldn't even
pooping.
put airplanes that close.
Just a little
Ooh.
kiss. It's fine. Just a little kiss on the hull. It's okay.
just a smooch.
Just a pick on the ring.
As a note to that, for future references, we're figuring this out. If we do want to try the fly-by smooch maneuver, thanks to my infiltration rig, I can access terminals and data pads that are within 30 feet.
Okay.
Now, it's up to you, Di, whether or not I can do that through the hull of 2 ships, but it's just something to put out there in case. Because I'm a little anxious about going aboard this thing, given what we found so far.
I have a bit of an idea.
Okay.
While we're all chatting, can I go ahead and start constructing a recon drone?
As I always say, don't ask me can I, tell me you're doing it.
Okay, I am going to start constructing one of my drones and getting the recon drone ready to go out because I would rather send a drone than a friend.
Okay.
Oh, we're friends? Yay, we're friends.
You've been in space together for like 3 weeks. You're friends whether you like it or not.
You don't know how I make friends. Okay, I'm just saying. Like,
Drones are friends. That is a good point.
they are.
Yeah. Okay. Who's making this scan for life forms in the general vicinity? Is that Helios or is that Rai?
Helios, do you have a preference?
I will. I will. I will continue the. Yeah, like. I've already kind of invested in trying to figure out what happened to this, so yeah, I will. I will at least attempt to continue the sciencey shit.
Okay. Please make, in this case, either an investigation or technology roll. Your choice for me.
Mother pots. A 10.
10. Okay. You're not able to pick up anything that the previous scan didn't. And you're also still getting, like, in between all the actual data streams, you're still getting just garbled code that doesn't make sense.
I would like to, even though I'm not understanding it, I would like to set the ship's computer to continue pulling in this garbled code, even though I don't understand. I am unable to decipher whatever that ship is sending out, but I am storing it in case it may become important later.
Mm-hmm. No, so essentially just archiving every bit of information you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You've got a few zettabytes to work with. It's cool.
Oh God, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's gotta be a whole like study program.
Data storage is wired
stuff.
into and throughout the hull of your ship.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But I cannot come up with any conclusions on what happened. They're just there, and as you say there, but you say not there, but past there. Does this make sense to anyone else?
No.
Your recon drone.
Unfortunate
Yeah.
news. If we're gonna use this, I don't gotta quite smooch that ship, but I do need to like give it an air hug.
How close do you have to be?
60 feet.
I was just gonna say, if the
Okay.
smooch is 30 feet, then the air hug would have to be 60 feet.
Yeah, it was either 60 or 120. I'm gonna ask you to make a piloting check. I'm gonna put this at a relatively low DC, let's say at a 12, to make sure that you can actually get that close without, you know.
Ooh, 15.
There we go. So yeah,
Hey.
you managed to just bit by bit get closer, and then right at the distance you need, hit the
We're gonna send out.
reverse thrust, and then you can more or less. This may be less glorious, but you can more or less just use the garbage chute and vent your drone out into space.
It's better than flushing it.
I mean, same tech, different application. But yeah, so you send your drone out into space, and when you use a recon drone, do you use your perception, or does the drone have its own perception?
Let me double check.
This is the part where not memorizing the books comes back to bite me in the ass.
Look, sometimes you just gotta read what's in the source book.
Nobody reads the source book.
I try.
Yeah.
It doesn't stick, but I try.
See, this is the problem. I'm so.
Oh my gosh.
I'm slightly
Does
sad
it
that none of
tell
you
me?
picked the sorcerer radiation freak option. That would have been
I was
fun.
so close to picking that, but
I was looking at
not
that.
this time. So close, but not this time.
Oh, I'm so glad. All right.
I believe it uses mine.
Okay.
I'm having trouble
for the
finding
sake
it
of
now.
for the sake of simplicity, we will say, go ahead and use your either perception or investigation. Perception will allow you to get a more complete idea of what you're looking at. Investigation will allow you to get a more complete idea of like the state of the ship and any more details as to.
We're gonna start with perception.
Okay, please make that roll for me then.
17.
That's very good. 17 total?
Yeah.
Okay. I've learned my lesson. I shall ask. You get the visual feed, and it more or less confirms what you saw at a distance, what also Nano has told you from just peering out earlier, that the ship is, just like in terms of its physical construction, it is there. It is in completely normal shape. Parts of the outside have begun to show aging, which normally on a ship wouldn't necessarily happen because normal ships go into like regular service and just get their outer hulls renewed, get the hull plating cleaned, all that sort of thing. Anything where it's like, yeah, sure, ships can get older, but as long as they're reliable, then there's no reason not to just spruce them up a little bit and keep using them. I swear I can speak English. This one clearly hasn't seen service in forever, decades. It's hard to tell. You can hardly think of a ship outside of, like the oldest, cheapest junkers that somebody will like buy off a scrap heap and try and see if they can find, that legendary asteroid that's just a gold mine of ores and minerals. No official scientific mission would be seen dead with a ship like this. And as you get this close, and I'm going to break one of my own rules here about sci-fi and permit viewports on a spaceship. Through the viewports, you can see the interior. Little bits of it. There are a few lights that are on, and in those few spaces you see nothing, just the interior of a ship. And there's a couple of areas where the lights are on, but one of the things that especially recon spaceships or such will do, and yours has this too, is that certain parts of the ship will have plant matter built into them to essentially help to recycle the atmosphere and keep oxygen production going. In some of the areas that are still well lit, that growth is normal. Ships have built-in systems to ensure that this doesn't go rampant and out of control, and also to ensure that it stays healthy, just making sure that, you know, you don't become a moss-infested lump in space. So the few parts that have lights look normal. You can see like the little hints of green woven into the structure to tell you those bits are fine. And then there's other areas that everything in them is just withered and gone. Which, yeah, you'd know. It basically tells you that there are areas where life support has failed entirely. You do also see around, like going around the outside, with the range you have on your drone, you cannot reach the entire ship. You cannot reach the far end of it that seems to both exist and not exist. But you do note that there are two docking ports for sort of connecting the umbilical between the ships.
Looking at the outside of the ship, now that I, kind of know that the inside has pieces of life support missing, are there spots on the outside of the ship that do not look aged and decayed?
No.
Okay.
Which is to say, like, the decay isn't universal, but you wouldn't expect that.
But there's not like blatant missing patches.
Yeah, like there's not like old suddenly shiny white patch. That isn't there. It's just it's a patchwork of aging.
That is exactly what I was asking. Okay, perfect.
In the time that we've been reviewing this, me still sitting at the sensor station, is there any way that I can tell whether or not there's any change in our ship? Any aging, anything like that?
Your ship has undergone no changes whatsoever. You don't even need to roll to do that. That's sort of like the regular diagnostic. Your ship is 100% functional. With, you're going to have to redo the paint job.
Right.
It'll buff out. It'll buff out.
Well, ours will buff out. I don't know about that one.
Is there can we scan for any nearby habitable, or honestly escape pods or habitable environs where they may have gone since we scanned the ship and it's got no life signs as far as we can tell. Is there anywhere nearby that they might have escaped to? A thing we can check for?
This I'm also not going to require a roll for.
Oh.
Because this is kind of a part of what your ship is just as a standard sort of thing equipped to do.
Just all the data, all of it.
Yeah, you sort through that. You don't seem to notice any habitable anythings in the vicinity. The last planet you flew by was about 3 days ago. The problem with space is that there's just so much empty.
I don't understand.
Wait,
this.
I will add one bit of information. There are life pods / escape pods. They are still attached to the ship.
Good, 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 good.
Is that good?
Is that good? Like, that makes even less sense. Wait, what? So we have a distress call from months ago. We have a ship we've encountered now. There are no life signs. Where did they go?
Excellent question. Does anyone have any other ideas about things we can do here before we actually go on the ship?
Our ship has been scanning? Our ship has been scanning various environmental factors, correct?
Your ship is more or less continuously running basic scans, I will say. Like there's basic background scans that you're continually doing, and then as you explore, you can activate certain other functions.
Okay.
The ship scanner RPG, yes.
I think Helios would one more time want to check the scanner for any traces. There are life pods that are within the ship, but were there any traces of propulsion, ejection, trajectory of life pods that may have left the ship? That's one thing that he would like to scan for with the data that we're receiving.
That I will need a roll from you. And
what would you like?
Will be I think here I will also ask, given that you're doing scanning, I will actually allow you to do either investigation or data.
I will take data. Why are you like... God, why are you like this dice? Sorry. That's another 10. I am so right in the middle with this.
You are
checking.
So wonderfully average.
I'm just nearsighted. The thing is that the scan is fine. I just...
You've been looking at data streams for the past 10 minutes, and your eyes are just beginning to think, this is enough. Which is to say that it's hard enough to, with your equipment not being necessarily designed for this, it's hard enough on its own to determine any sort of like ion trails or such, but especially in this case, you're not able to discern any specific signals as to that. Nano.
Yes.
Please make a wisdom saving throw for me.
No. 13.
13.
For real.
For real?
I was about to say 13 plus? No, okay, 13 for real. You receive a signal.
In my brain?
Yeah, more or less. You receive a signal which is very, very simplistic It seems to be just like an incredibly low energy transmission, and it translates very simply as friend foe YN.
YN as in
Yes
the
or no.
letters YN? Okay.
Yeah.
Something is trying to speak. Can I answer back, or
You can try.
I'm gonna do friend Y and then do the same back to them, friend foe YN.
Okay. You don't get any response. Skylin.
Yeah.
Your recon drone is still out. You're still kind of keeping a watch on things. Of the two connection points where your ship could dock and connect, the outer ring of lights for one of them just flashes on.
Oh.
I believe we've been invited.
Looks that way. I will
Invited
go on
to
record saying I
where?
hate everything about this, but I don't think we have anything left. It's time to go.
I honestly agree with Rye, and that is rare.
I'm going to start, very gently tapping our ship forward in that direction.
Okay.
Are you guys sure about this?
There is
I
no
mean,
one here. Something has clearly happened. And I must ask, would you rather go back to scanning sectors again?
No. No, just go for it.
I'm curious what's
Okay.
trying to reach out to us.
I will require
am
one more pilot
concerned.
check.
Okay.
And I will ask at this point, this is not ominous at all, does anyone want to assist your pilot?
Can I do
I
that?
die to
Yeah.
lay
In terms
flat.
of feeding
Yeah.
them information from my scanners?
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah, no, Helios is gonna talk to Nano. Like, what did you? Are we invited, or are we being vetted?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. They seem to want to make sure we weren't bad.
I appreciate that.
Okay. With him helping, am I rolling with advantage?
Yes. Assistance is very simple. If someone is nearby and can help you, you just get advantage.
Okay. It's going to be a 17.
Yeah. Docking maneuver is not an issue. It is, as near as you can tell, a derelict ship that is not moving under power, so adjusting to its constant rotation in space is a piece of cake. And your ship does have a docking tube, so that can be extended. Don't.
Well, I wasn't going there until that.
It's fine.
I
It's
saw
fine.
Brian.
It's fine. Let's
No.
just tap it in. Tap it. Tap it in.
All right. Keep it down. No. 17 on a piloting roll, you have 0 issues with a docking maneuver, and you manage to get the magnetic clamps in place, and your ships now are locked together, connected. What do next, or rather, I mean, I assume we know what you're going to do next. So I suppose the question is, if anyone's going to go aboard, who's going to move first?
I don't have to breathe.
That makes me more worried that you said that. They no. I'm sorry. They are Avia Rosso. Like, Helios is definitely wanting to go first to find out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But at Nano saying that, we'll make sure that he has like encounter equipment on him just in case.
Okay.
As is standard for embarkment on a dead ship, clearly.
Standard. Nano. Since you are leading the way, as you have decided that your lack of necessity for oxygen makes you a candidate, as you make your way towards the docking doors, the moment you sort of step over the threshold and into the tube, you receive another very brief message, slightly more complex this time, which says, or rather, it sort of, for you, it sort of flashes up in your sight as a quick bit of text that says, "Please verify, friend."
I stand there for a moment. Friend, verify.
This is gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna need you to make me a persuasion roll.
Yep. I was waiting for it.
Fine, we're fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, it is fine.
Oh?
I need math. Hold on.
Oh no.
Math?
28.
Damn.
Okay.
Diane's just like, oh, fine, here's the rest of the game.
Yeah, all right, you win. You are stepping in, and you say this, and like you don't just kind of communicate it, but you communicate it with force of will behind it. And again, a brief bit of text flashes up in your vision that simply says, "Acknowledge." And as that happens, two of the lights that you thought were simply sort of the outer ring of docking tube lights power down. Everything is still fine. It's just that you then realize the pattern for the docking tube would have been complete without those two lights.
Trap. I turn around to the others and basically say that we are. They keep asking if we are friends.
Mm-hmm. And based on what you just saw, your answer seems to have actually been accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Do they believe that we are friends?
It seems so. Do we believe they are friends?
It seems odd that one would have to ask if strangers are friends.
Repeatedly.
However,
Well, the door at the other end of the tube slides apart, revealing the interior of the ship. This adjoining hallway is lit and clearly visible, and as near as you can tell, has active life support going on.
that's what I wanted to ask.
You can at this point enter the derelict after we've taken a break. We have been going for about an hour and a half now, so it is time for me to allow the players to get a bit of a break from my shenanigans and me to get a break from theirs. So we are going to take 5 minutes, probably closer to 10. Let's face it, it's a TTRPG stream. This is how it goes. We're going to say 5 minutes and then we'll be back in 10. Time is a relative concept, and especially so in space. So I'm going to put us over to an intermission screen, and we'll see you all back here shortly. I will keep my eye on the time.
Actually, wait. What's our total so far on charity?
That
good
is
question.
a good point. I think we are at 60. That was the last update, at least from Kitchen. We're at 70. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, 70. Okay, so first off,
So thank you.
if anyone, if anyone hasn't been paying attention, at $50, Diane has to give us a boon.
Yes.
Boon. But yeah, please keep donating. Exclamation point donate for the link to donate at $150. The environment. Wait, why is why is 150 more dangerous? Why is who did that?
At least we get the boon first.
Who put that? At 300 we all get inspiration, and at 500 something immaterial. I don't like these. I don't like half of these, but I would love if you all donated. And consider doing that and sharing out the link while we take a break. And I'm now very concerned.
Yeah, and the reason that the tier is as it is because I decided on that.
Ooh, earns.
What?
Gently, not so gently.
I was saying boo earns.
I mean, okay. I'll make sense of that one later. But for now,
Gently,
yes.
not gently. Reminder that if the DM made these incentives, there's going to be something interesting behind
Why
it.
did we let her
And
make
she
these
did.
incentives?
Because
is what
none
I
of
want.
y'all did.
Why? Dang it. Dang it.
You should have skipped brunch, Brian.
Oh.
All right. We'll see you all back here shortly. Thank you for the donations so far. Please keep them coming. I do want to make the environment more hostile to my players. I want to have that fun.
I mean, yes, but no.
Only yes. No. See you soon. Okay, and here we are on screen again. So, getting back into the game. And thank you, Level Up Lady, for putting in the donate link in. This is an impromptu but definitely also a charity stream, so we are raising funds for World Central Kitchen. They provide meals and food to people basically all across the globe, anyone who is in need of support for that, and food being, the crucial thing that lets you live is kind of a vital service in every single sense of the word. They are out there anywhere in the world, no matter the risks, no matter what's happening. And I highly, highly urge you to support them, because it does not matter where you are, whatever goes to the World Central Kitchen will feed people, period. That's just how it works. I have a huge respect for them. I have a huge respect for the risks they take. So please support them. The game itself, let's continue with that. Last we left off, I say last, but when we left off, our intrepid group of explorers has essentially found a derelict ship which was launched 3 months ago, sent out a distress call 2 days ago, and appears to have been in space long enough to show signs of significant aging. Although it shows no signs of damage whatsoever, despite Rai picking up on the sensors that a piece of it does not exist. Every visual check says that, yeah, it's there. We have now connected to the ship after Nano, played by Level Up Lady, has, in private thoughts, or I guess in binary thoughts, communicated with something and convinced it that they are friends. And on doing so, the lighting around the docking clamps changed ever so slightly, powering down the explosive charges that were also placed as a subtle deterrent.
Okay.
Oh, I just saw the chat messages and I'm not thinking about that one. Yeah. You are connected to the Starlight ship.
There is life support in this area.
Yeah, you have a lit and life-supported hallway in front of you. It is yours to enter. Your own ship can, and you know this well because you've done it sometimes when you were just too goddamn bored to continue scanning, your own ship can safely be just set on autopilot and left alone.
Can it be locked? Like, once we walk off of it, can we, like, lock the door behind us?
If
we
you
wanna
wish,
have-
yes.
Are we putting the
have the
club on
obstacle?
the like steering? Is that what we're doing?
I'm concerned that if we need to run
I
out of here,
prefer
that we're
nobody
going to
go
be.
in at all.
I'm worried that if we have to get out of here in a hurry, we're going to be fumbling with the keys to the ship at the door.
Oh no, you dropped them in the sewer grate.
But something is talking to her, and I don't know that we want that something on our ship yet.
True.
They'll know if we're friends.
Skylin, I would normally say normal docking procedures, but can you implement a perhaps retinal or voice scan for access to the ship pending any difficulties?
I try to.
Actually, you don't even need to try it.
Okay.
Doing, like, essentially setting a voice access password is a basic security feature. You can You can choose whether to limit that to a specific person or whether to set it for the entire crew. That is your prerogative as current pilot, and your choice will be known only to you.
Oh boy.
Ah.
I realized I made a mistake when I walked into the room and telling everyone it was okay. Can I scan the room?
Oh no!
We'll get to that in a second.
I thought about that. I was
I
like,
like
it's safe,
having
guys.
I am going to set it for the
Yeah.
whole crew and let them
The
know.
one crew
Okay.
member who does not need oxygen decided it was
It's
safe
like-
for all of us.
Yep.
Thank you.
And here we go.
That's how it goes. It's just like, yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Oh, I forgot lungs. Okay. So, Skylin, you've set voice activation access to the ship to be valid for your 4 crew members. And all of you know this.
Mhm.
Nano, you've already entered the ship, and Helios, you were not far behind, correct?
Yes.
So, I will put it this way. Let's say, Nano, you're a couple of steps ahead. Helios, you're more or less just kind of crossing the threshold, getting onto the ship. And that's when, Nano, you realize, wait, I forgot to scan. Do you have a handheld scanning device or any such thing with you?
The only thing I have is my thermal sight.
Okay. Then I will ask you to make a perception roll and tell me the result of that. I'm waiting for a ridiculously high number here.
Yep.
Because I remember your modifier.
25.
Oh, Jesus. Sorry. Oh, space Jesus.
Oh, not even that one. No,
Oh, fine. Space Godzilla, then.
that's better.
Your spikiness. No, anyway. Quick perception check, and this will be very quick with your score. You don't need very long to determine that you're in an area that has life support. It's functional, although you can see that like some of the small little displays along the walls are dead. This is the sort of thing that happens when just like, you know, wiring goes loose or deterioration of the material, that sort of thing. If it hasn't been serviced in long enough, then things just kind of start to fall apart. Looking down this hallway, it's a very simple design and layout. At the end of the hallway, not far ahead of where you are, maybe like 10 yards ahead, is a set of stairs leading up and down. And you have 2 doors on either side. Of these doors, one has a panel which is lit, and there are 3 of them that have, like, they also have sort of readout or display panels. Those are not lit. The one which is lit says medical bay.
Now I relay that it's safe.
Okay. Skylin and Ray. Or Rai, sorry. Are you following? Or are
Yes.
you waiting? Okay. You're following?
I am going to make sure that I call my recon drone back with me
Uh-huh.
and send it ahead of me, but I am following.
Okay.
Like maybe 20 feet ahead of me.
Okay. So it's ahead at a reasonable distance. So what you're saying is it's the sacrificial drone.
Yes.
Okay. So you are at this point all in this hallway. As near as you can tell, there is one level below you, one level above you. You're in sort of like the central area of the ship. From the readouts and Rai, you scanned this ship got a fairly detailed scan of the ship. You know that in the middle, which is the tallest section, so to speak, there are only 3 decks. So the stairs up will lead you 1 deck up, and the stairs down will take you 1 deck down. You may also, of course, where the stairs are, there are paths leading off to either side. You're essentially sort of coming into just slightly off center from the middle of the ship from the back.
I look around to everybody and say, do anyone have any preference as to where we go first?
The
Actually-
scans, when we were on our ship, the scans still indicated, like, the scans that we had indicated no life signs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely none whatsoever. Speaking of which, sorry, Nano, I forgot to take into account your thermal vision. Your thermal vision tells you, it basically lets you note whether or not there are living beings, correct?
I can see 30 feet living or dead
Okay.
through like anything as long as it's not an illusion or magic.
Okay. Mm. Yeah, no, we'll do this. Or not, we'll do this, but I think that would make this possible. Through the door of the medical bay, you see something dead behind it.
Oh. We should look at the medical bay.
I have an extreme interest in the medical bay in general, but I don't know there's dead things in there unless you tell us.
Yeah. There seems to be something laying in the medical bay, not alive.
Oh. As we are dealing with some sort of anomaly, perhaps that is the best place to look.
So I move toward the medical bay, but I'm still keeping, let's say I keep at a distance of like 10 feet away from the door. You said there's a panel on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Can I, again, like I mentioned before, being able to manipulate or access terminals, data pads, and such,
Yep.
can I open the door from a distance without actually being in front of it?
Yes.
I do that.
I'm not even going to ask for a roll. That's a very simple interaction with like one of the basic functions of this panel.
Mm-hmm.
You do note the programming, the way this panel works is nearly identical to what's on your ship.
Okay.
The
Looking
door,
inside. Sorry, go ahead.
The door slides open. Within the medical bay, there are a few overhead lights. One of them remains functional. 4 of them have expired. Slightly off to the side, on the sole sort of gurney, as it were, are remains. You were told by Nano that there's something dead in here. There is indeed something dead. It is decayed. It is about, you would reckon, half the size of like an average humanoid. Would someone like to make a medicine check, please? Any one of you. Well, let me ask, who's first into the room, if any of you are? I think this was Helios, because you were the first to speak up.
Was I?
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry. Rye opened the door.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
I
from a
moved toward the door.
distance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was
like,
kind of like peering in from the outside.
well, like he's the one that glooped ahead of us. Like
How far ahead of me are you? Did the recon drone go in first?
I'm gonna say the recon drone can't make a medicine check.
that's
The
fair.
recon
All right,
drone is
hold
for
on.
looking and seeing, not for making a medical examination.
All right. I will basically, yeah, I would say Helios is kind of like as the door opened leaning in. It's a 12 medicine check.
12. That's above a 10.
Yeah, I finally rolled above one.
Which
Yay me.
actually is
Wow.
good enough to tell you that you are looking at the remains of a dwarf. A dwarf who seems to have suffered no physical harm whatsoever.
I don't understand
The remains are
this.
on this medical table, lying down, arms crossed, and one of the hands, or what remains of the hand. Now you can see there's like, there is still skin, but papery, mummified essentially. It is stretched taut, and there's like,
That
with a
was
12
very
medicine
specific.
with a 12 medicine check, you can't tell exactly how long, but it's been a while. One of
Okay,
the hands
dead.
is resting on a very small sort of like little data pad.
They I mm, I they have
Would you like me to check?
passed. I and like they are dead and not like decay decrepit, but like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to describe like when like it's like
Mummified.
I've been watching a lot of Twilight Zone, so I'm like okay. No, I do not. None of this makes sense, and I would say Helios reaches forward to try to retrieve the data pad.
Mm-hmm.
Issues? No issues? Just
As long as none of the party are interfering, you can just.
I wouldn't touch that yet.
I can leave it there, but it seems to be a clue. Do you have any suggestions?
Can I go make a medical check on this and see if I can find a cause of death or
If you wish, yes. The mantra remains, do not ask can I, simply say I do.
I'm going to. So that's a 22.
That's a 22. This person, very clearly a dwarf, very clearly did not suffer any physical like trauma or anything of the sort, simply expired of old age.
Okay.
There's like, you don't see any signs of like, there's nothing broken except for like like one rib that's collapsed where it just became too brittle to actually hold up anymore. Oh, hang on. Obligatory rock and stone, lads.
Yeah.
For Carl. All right, that detour aside. Yeah, okay. Brian's confused. Carl, may he rest in peace, is expired of old age and natural causes. Congratulations, Kitchen, you just named this dwarf. And,
Okay. I guess you can grab it if you want to. I'm going to now back up far away from it.
okay.
Should I not? I think at Skyland's mention, Helios uses his staff to kind of like he leans forward with the staff to knock the data pad
Mm-hmm.
out of the dwarf's hands and onto the floor before picking it up.
Okay. As you pick it up, and yeah, you pick it up, and let's give you a boon here.
Oh.
Oh.
Because, let me ask, Helios, what languages do you have?
Oh goodness. Aviara, which is spoken, weird, written, celestial, and then common.
Okay, good. Because you don't speak Dwarvish.
Nope.
No. So, let me give you a bit of a boon here. You pick this up, and on contact, it kind of lights up, flickers for a moment. And the first thing that happens is a speaker right above the door simply says, "Friend detected. You may proceed." The second thing that happens is that the datapad begins, and it begins in sort of what to you is just recognizably Dwarvish, but aside from recognizing that it is Dwarvish, you don't understand anything. At which point the loudspeaker once again chimes in and says, "Would you care for translation?"
Helios looks at the pad and then to the speaker. Was that not a given?
Apparently not.
Given parameter not defined.
Define parameter as translate to language of possessor.
Wonderful. You in Avia Ra get a translation. The rest of you don't understand this now, unless you have Avia Ra as one of your languages. Helios, you kind of like hear almost like a rewind, so it just goes and then it starts again as, "Nearing the end of my days. My lifespan has permitted me to continue on where my companions unfortunately have succumbed to the ebb and flow of time. However, my days too near an end. I leave this as a record. My crew behaved valiantly, and though the rescue was not a success, I consider the bravery, the resourcefulness, and the camaraderie which allowed us to carry on in the face of the great unknown. May we all find our peace. And may we all one day find our way back home. Signed, Elgar Rothore, Chief Scientist. And it is dated 107 years from today.
From
Yes.
the what? Okay, so Helios was like slowly relating all of that to everyone else, and then even actually paused when he got to the date. And then explained to them that this appears to be dated in our future? How is that possible? Nano, are you still connected with friends?
They have not they have not contacted me in a while. I can try to contact them.
I was just gonna ask.
What would we relay, though?
What the fuck?
No, I honestly, Rai has a very valid question. Nothing is seeming to make sense right now. Where your eyes, our data, this pad, the date. Some information would be welcomed at this point.
How about, are we from the same time?
Or what year is it?
Or that, yeah.
I would say the simplest thing you could perhaps convey, because Helios doesn't exactly understand how Vect is, how Nano is receiving this data, because it seems like it's been a yes/no kind of thing, on/off binary. I don't know. Can you convey time through this?
So I want to try to talk to them.
Okay. Let's see. Make a general charisma check.
Where is that? There it is.
Oh no.
What are you saying oh no for?
Just the look on Level Up Lady's face.
Why did the cameras suddenly... What is with OBS suddenly blipping out on the camera feeds? I don't get it.
Are you tabbing?
I was...
I learned last week that when you tab around, sometimes Discord just fades out.
It didn't do that last time I was still streaming.
I know, it's a new thing. It's super frustrating.
Rude. I was tabbing over to see something in the book.
Well, yeah.
You're not supposed to know that I'm tabbing around. Okay, so level up lady, what's your role?
1.
Oh god, what's your bonus?
-1.
Oh no!
Oh god.
Oh my
Okay.
god!
Oh, I love this. I haven't had a 0 in a long time.
Fuck off.
Thank you. This is a gift.
No!
No, it's not. No, it's
I
not.
hate everything about your reaction to this. I hate it all.
sort of try to send out like a general thought, I suppose, of wanting to contact, wanting to communicate, and I, in return, need you to make a charisma saving throw.
I am troubled by how often charisma is a part of this communication process.
17.
Okay, yeah. You notice a pressure, but you manage to just kind of shrug that off, shake that off. But alongside that pressure comes a new message that says direct interface required.
Whoa. Okay.
Please proceed to the bridge.
It seems I can't contact them. They want us to go somewhere else to reach them. They said the bridge. But they didn't say where that is.
But
Are any of you still in the hallway?
Am I just talking to myself?
No.
No.
You can be heard. Y'all are close enough. I'm just asking, are any of you still in the hallway?
no.
No, I moved in behind them.
Yeah, we were all in the
Oh,
room, I
okay. Never
think.
mind then. This isn't important.
Well, we're going back out into the hallway, I guess, so it might be important.
Are we relatively familiar enough with the build of this ship to know where the bridge is?
Does anyone else want to make a history roll for me, please?
Why do you say history? I like the ship is like
well,
the log is
okay.
from 100 years on. Why
History or
like
technology, I will also allow. I will allow piloting because as a pilot you might be familiar with
Right.
different types of ship. So history, piloting, or technology.
cannot roll to save my life today. My technology check is a 13.
I mean, that's not bad. That's above average.
But yeah, I also trust the pilot to be like they would know where they're trying to get their hands on the let's go. Like,
I mean, I only got a 14.
Okay.
hey, see, we're in there.
Okay. You both more or less have the same idea that in a ship like this, given that you already know this is a scientific build, highly advanced to the point where like some of the arrays and stuff you have, like you couldn't identify them. This is beyond your pay grade. But something like this,
We get paid.
yeah.
You guys are getting paid.
Oh no.
I mean, you're doing this. You're an Aviara. You're doing this for your faith. This is different.
The rest of us are doing it for exposure.
Oh,
Oh
you,
no!
you don't want exposure in space. That's bad.
Yeah, you don't want.
That is
That's
bad.
bad.
It's
No.
very bad.
We're doing it for
Right.
anti-exposure.
Oh boy. So, on a situation like this, because ships like this tend to be sent to weird instances where weird shit can happen, the bridge is actually one of the most secure areas. It would be located centrally on the ship, behind, like several bulkheads and also much armor plating. So, more or less across the hall.
I was just going to ask, that's the level we're on, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Rye walks back toward the door and just steps just a step outside the door and looks to see, do I see the entrance to the bridge?
If you look around, when you look towards the stairs, you see that the floor, the arrow up and the arrow down both say living quarters. The arrows to the left and right say science facilities. There is a note that says bridge level. That's not connected to any arrow, that's just where you're on. The issue being, of course, that the only readout which is active is the one telling you that this is the medical suite that you're in. The other 3 doors that are in this hallway do not have labels.
I use my infiltrator. Okay, is it actually going to help me?
Good.
I was going to say I'm going to try and see if, given the whatever, I'm going to try and see if there's anything about these panels that are dim, any way that I can bring power back to them or revive them to see
Okay.
what they access.
Make a data check for me, please.
Data. Another natural 20 for 21.
Jesus. Yeah. There's residual power. It seems that the displays have more or less. One of them, the one next to the medical suite, has completely degraded. There's nothing you can do about that one. Not even, like, unless you want to rip it out and replace it entirely. That one's dead. The 2 on the opposite walls, one flashes on again. You essentially just have to kind of rewrite a little bit and reroute the power. Both of them flash on. You do notice that the lights in the hallway flicker for a moment as you do this. One says helm control. The other says bridge. Bridge being like sort of slightly ahead and on the other side of the hallway.
So I turn around and look at everybody and say, I think we found it.
Should we go there? Or explore first?
Have you gotten any other messages?
Nope.
But they requested you on the bridge, correct?
Yes.
The only thing we've seen on this ship is dead. I don't like the idea of going against the ship's will.
Or whoever
If that's who we're actually talking to.
who it seems as though it would be good to stay in their good graces for now.
Let's
Bridge.
Start
go.
walking towards the bridge.
Okay.
Yeah, I use the panel to open the door.
Which order do you exit the room in?
The
I don't
medical
like
bay?
that question. I'm offended by that question, honestly. I don't like that.
Answer it anyway. Let me ask it this way: who's last out the door?
Oh.
Because it's not Rye, who's already out.
No, I already went out.
Yeah, I think Helios is probably last at that point.
Okay. Like, you all exit, and then there's just kind of like another. You see another brief flicker on the hallway lights, and you just like you hear a sound you don't like to hear, which is a sort of the sound of something going bzz, and short-circuiting. And I need you to make a dexterity save as the door just comes slamming down at you.
Not cool. Cool.
Thought we were friends.
We were.
Right? That's a 12.
That's unfortunately not going to make it not on a DC of 14. So I get to roll dice now. This is exciting.
Oh no.
God.
It ain't much, don't worry. You will take 5 points of bludgeoning damage. As you do your best to dodge the door, but it just kind of like slams you on the shoulder and pushes you. Like, you're not trapped under the door, but you're essentially like, it hits you on the shoulder and you fall out into the hallway. And you see above the door there's like the tiny little wisp of smoke indicating that something's just given out in the circuitry there.
Whatever is happening, we should try to find out the cause, or we should get off this ship.
Is he on the other side of a door from us now?
Oh yeah.
No,
did,
no, no.
Did I get through and it smacked me?
Okay.
You're in the
I'm like,
hallway.
did it trap him out or in?
No, it just like it smacked you on the shoulder on your way out.
Okay.
Rude.
I mean, better than on the other side of the door.
I'm sure a dead dwarf isn't gonna cause me any harm. It's fine.
Oh.
So, bridge? I use the panel to open the door and, keeping an eye for what's going on, walk into the bridge or the hallway, whatever's on the other side of that door.
On the other side of that door is a bridge. You recognize it. You recognize it from the recording. You recognize what it was from the recording. It does not look like that anymore. It, very much like the rest of the ship, it looks like what the bridge might be if someone had taken that recording and then just let it sit for about a century. And beside the central chair on which you saw the Aviara sitting and telling you in the recording with this wonderfully calm voice that if the recording should ever be received, that they are in severe distress and definitely require help, you see another body. Helios, it's instantly recognizable to you. This is an Aviara corpse. Now, your species is also long-lived. Much like dwarves, you can live for centuries. This one also died of old age. You know this immediately because, well, at a certain age, the feathers start to wilt, as it were. And you can recognize the signs of aging of one of your own species.
Something very strange is happening on this ship, and I don't understand it.
Nano, are you also entering the bridge?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All of you note that not where the captain's chair is, but one of the wall consoles is now beeping. Like there's a sort of like faint sort of bing, 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 just a gentle white light that seems to be fading on and off with the accompanying bing, bing, bing. I should actually get closer to the camera so it doesn't pick me up as the background. Terrible habit of just continually moving backwards from it.
I go to examine it.
Mm-hmm. It's a regular wall panel. It's just lighting up and waiting to be interacted with.
Is there a console on it?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Okay, so I start typing on it.
Okay. The moment you touch it, it activates and it says, "Welcome, new user. Are you the relief?"
Are you the relief?
What?
I look back at everyone and ask, "Are we the relief?"
That would imply that we are taking over. And I'm not sure we want the responsibility of taking over a ship that is recognizing us more than we're recognizing it.
Is there an option to say that we are the rescue?
I turn around and type, "No. Rescue."
I'm more comfortable with that.
Okay. There's an almost immediate response that says, how to phrase this? The almost immediate response says, "The ship is not in danger. Rescue not required."
Okay. Cool. So we're out, right? They don't need us. That's it. I mean, we asked.
Nano, ask the computer to survey the crew complement.
Would be like survey crew log ?
Okay. You get a very short listing of 5 crew members. You get a listing for a captain. You get a listing for a chief scientist, an engineer, and 2 security officers.
Confirm life signs?
No life signs present. It's surprising that this confirmation comes. So far, it's only reacted to you, Nano. But when Helios now says this, the answer comes up immediately on screen.
And we ask, where did the distress call come from then?
I was gonna do crew history logs.
Okay.
Yeah. Crew history log is in line with the dates that you had from the distress call. The crew history log says that they set out these 5 crew members 3.5 months ago. The history log then continues that the mission encountered mechanical issues Some external damage occurred on the ship of unknown origin. There's no recording of what the crew did with this. The log then continues past the current date to about 60 years from now, recording the death by natural causes of one of the security officers. Not long after that, of the engineer. Again, not long after that, roughly 80 years from now, the other security officer. 107 years from now, the death of the chief scientist. 193 years from now, the captain will die.
What year is it?
And the next log entry
Oh no.
is
Oh,
dated
no.
17 hours ago.
Oh, wait, what?
And it says,
And it says, receipt of distress signal confirmed.
We received the distress signal.
17 hours ago.
Wait, no, so
what?
not 17. Sorry. At this point, 2 hours ago, because...
Got
sorry,
it.
my mistake.
Thank you.
You've been on
Okay.
this ship for about half an hour at this point. So yeah, 2 hours ago, that's the next log entry. That's not crew log, but that's then sort of the, okay, 193 years in the future, the captain has expired of natural causes. And then 2 hours ago, you received the distress signal.
I type in what is current date.
It gives you the precise current date and time matching with your chronometers.
okay, so I'm thinking out loud to the rest of my crew here. Is it that this ship progressed its mission for the next 107, however many years, and then traveled back in time, or did something hit this thing that has changed time here? Those are what I'm seeing as the options. Anybody else have any thoughts?
Well, with the wing both existing and not existing, and it could still be either, because there were things on your scan that couldn't be interpreted. It was just
True.
data.
Mm-hmm.
So it could, one of those things could be this time discrepancy, and it could have just fried the system.
True.
But it could also be because this is future ship.
We should
Video-
leave.
Videos of mechanical issues?
Reconstructing.
Oh.
Reconstructing.
Oh.
Reconstructing. A few seconds later, a video flashes up, labeled as sort of sensor data reconstruction, which shows the what would be the left side of this ship, where everything is normal, and then you see, like, essentially it's a sensor feed translated into video. So you see sort of an exterior view, as it were, of that side of the ship just moving through space. And then an object, just a regular sort of asteroid, appears about like 300 meters or so ahead of the ship. And I don't mean becomes visible, as in the entire full asteroid just suddenly exists. Collides with that side of the ship, and you can see like a small pocket of atmosphere and such beginning to vent. That was the damage to the ship. You do note those are like you're all in the bridge. There is one other console that's active, and that is the one next to the captain's chair.
Can I access that and see is there a specific captain's log about the damage to the ship or
Yeah, make a data check again.
anything relevant?
You can make a data check. You can also make an investigation check. Up to you.
Investigation is my better skill.
Okay.
Complementing that 20, we have an 8 with +4, so 12.
Okay, that is enough. You have to sift through a bit, so some of the entries are corrupted. But you have to go back a long way. There's a lot of entries here. But when you get back to, because you remember the distress call was sent out 2 days ago. So you essentially go on a search for the date at that point, and you find a log entry that simply says, unexpected and unknown damage to left wing of ship. First officer sent out to repair.
That's all that there is there that's relevant to that event.
That's the entry noting the damage. Would you
Okay.
like to read on?
Yeah, if there's anything subsequently that is related or
Yeah.
affected ship systems
I
or
mean,
anything like that. Also, quick question. When
Yeah.
you say I'm sipping back through this and what you described earlier, in between these milestone events that you mentioned for us of the deaths of the different crew, everything in between there, is it like what you would expect for standard ships it's just like 107 years of ships operations logs?
For the captain's log, 193.
193, sorry. But yeah, it would be
Yeah.
utterly routine except for the amount of them.
More or less, you do note that like the longer that it goes on, the longer the periods between entries. At first, it seems to be following a very daily routine. That daily becomes then like every other day, which becomes weekly, which becomes monthly.
Okay.
At some point, the routines began to slip a little bit. But the following entry from what you read just now is lost contact with first officer. Remaining 5 crew members agree to investigate.
Okay. Is there a subsequent log about the crew members? And I'm relating this to everybody as I'm reading it.
How do you mean about the crew members?
Did they come back? Like we just lost the first officer, and now the remaining crew members. Did I hear that right? Are going out to look for him?
Yes.
Okay.
Skylan.
Yeah.
Make a quick intelligence check for me.
Uh-oh.
Actually, I will also ask this of Helios. And
Just a straight in.
Just a straight in check, and I say this because of your facial expressions lately.
15.
15, okay.
Also, 15.
Okay.
Nice.
Hey.
Both of you note that it's interesting that the captain's log notes a first officer going to repair the damage when the ship told you nothing about a first officer.
Oh God, right.
And we got death dates for
You
at
have
least 4
you have death dates for 5 crew members.
or 5. Yeah.
The ship's computer lists a complement of 5.
Yeah, it was a captain, a scientist, engineer, and 2 security. No
First officer.
first officer.
The following log, Rai, says sensors malfunctioning, unable to communicate with base.
Base.
And that's where the log entries begin to get routine.
Okay.
I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Well, shit. That is a straight roll for me. 15. Oh, wait.
Okay.
Saving throws. Sorry. Con. Yeah, no, it's a straight roll for me. It's a 15.
Okay,
Oh.
perfect. That's actually exactly what you needed.
Okay.
As you hear again a familiar sound of a sort of like a bzzz, and the console that you're reading on just more or less explodes, and you have suddenly a current of electricity running through you.
Lovely.
But it's not strong enough to actually do any damage. It's like like touching a cattle fence. It's just one of those
Who does that?
Yeah, I was going to jump right over that one.
Like, you know what? Moving on.
All I will
Moving
say
I grew up
is
in the suburbs. I've never touched a cattle fence.
Moving on.
I will say this: if you're ever petting horses in an exclosure, make sure you have your hand on their nose and not under it, because when their heads move down, that sucks.
Oh,
it.
ouch. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just summarizing for everybody here to make sure I'm on the same page with everybody else. We go into the medical bay, and on the way out, the medical bay tries to attack Helios. I'm reading the ship's log, and the panel blows up in my hand. Do we have a consciousness, mechanical being, something in the computer or the ship that we need, that we're... Do we have a visitor here? Actually, I guess we're the visitors here.
I was gonna
You get what I'm
say.
saying?
I already said that we should leave.
Well,
I am not opposed to leaving. Like, I mean, there are mysteries, and then there are mysteries.
yeah.
I understand that our mission was not very interesting. I agree that this was a diversion, but it doesn't seem as though it is healthy to pursue whatever this mystery is.
You all hear a creaking. Just this sort of like the creaking and groaning of old metal shifting.
Oh.
Don't like it.
No, we're on the same page.
And you're in the bridge, so despite the captain's console suffering a short circuit, there are still a few readouts that are powered, including one that shows a general sort of view of the ship. You notice that on this readout, it also displays a missing section of the left side of the ship. And as the creaking happens, the readout now also displays, by the way, your own little scout ship connected. Your ship is maybe half the size of this one. On that readout,
Oh no.
the section of the ship that's missing begins to grow
Fuck.
as you feel a very slight bit of motion.
No.
I want to go back to our ship, guys, because I want to know what's going on, but I want to know what's going on with technology we know and it doesn't explode in our hands.
I'm good with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm going to try to leave the bridge.
Okay.
Do you want to send the drone ahead of us first? Just in case?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Your
we wouldn't take
drone-
a ton of
I
risk at this point.
tell the drone to go back towards the ship, staying 20 yards ahead of me. Or 20 feet, not yards. Sorry. 20 feet.
Either one works. I can do the math. All right. Just a short ways ahead of you. The drone moves ahead, and it's fine.
I'm following it,
Okay.
trusting that this thing's going to be back to the ship.
And I'm following Skyline.
The door to the connection to your ship closes abruptly. And across the loudspeakers, you hear a voice. Not the same one that you heard before, but a voice that says, "You are the relief." You are the relief. Relieve me.
Ow.
You are the relief. Relieve me.
I don't feel
I'm still
relieved
at
at all.
I'm still at the console, so do I hear it too?
Yeah.
Relieve how? Question mark.
The answer comes again in the form of a voice over the loudspeaker saying, "Are you next in line?"
This is getting worse
Mm-hmm.
and worse.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also want to say that I'm not. Once the first announcement of the loudspeaker came, I stopped because I'm not leaving Nano in the bridge while we're heading to the
Okay.
like.
I don't need to breathe.
That's not helping.
Good point.
That
Maybe
is
we should
not
get going.
helping.
All right. The question is repeated. There's like a hint of impatience that says, "Are you next in line?"
No, period. Open door. Open ship door. You have to be direct.
Yeah.
Relief must be next in line. Who is next in line? I have been waiting. A captain cannot give the ship to anyone but those next in line.
The first officer.
Well, the captain doesn't die for another 193 years.
Okay, fair.
That is a valid point.
Yeah.
I head back to everyone else.
The captain
So what-
died 15 hours ago, 193 years from now. Are you next in line?
Okay, it really hurts my head when you say shit like that.
Rye is keeping it
Not
real
Thom, by
out
the way.
here,
This
and
is
I
Rye
appreciate
talking to the
that.
computer.
Like,
I don't know if we are next in line yet.
Interesting take.
No dot ship
No.
retire.
As this,
Unknown yet.
as this conversation is going on, you note that the area of the ship that is not displayed keeps moving closer and closer and closer to where you are.
You mean like the void
Yes,
in the ship? It's moving towards us.
yes.
Fucking hell. The computer responded to both Nano and Helios, so I just
It's
say
just-
to the
yeah.
computer, where is the first officer?
The computer's voice responds with, "There is no first officer."
Who is next in line?
All crew members have expired.
will have expired, not yet expired.
Syntax incomprehensible.
You're not one to start talking about that now, I swear to God. All right.
And these are, I think I might have misdirected. These are two different voices we're talking about, right? There was a different
Yeah.
voice from I talked to the computer.
Mhm.
The other voice that is harassing us was different.
That's a good way to describe it. Yeah.
I mean, we literally just fucking walked in here. We didn't even break anything or try to take anything. We were just having a look. And
Right.
all of a sudden, they're up
In
our
the
ass.
words of
They told
Dante, we're
us.
not even supposed to be
To be
here
here
today.
Yeah, but
They told us.
if I may remind you, somebody told the ship that you were friend.
Yeah, there are limits to friendship and there are boundaries. I'm just gonna say, even in space.
Good luck explaining that one.
To
Just a
whom?
note.
We don't even know what we're talking now.
Yeah. Oh,
All right.
Or what we're saying,
Yeah.
apparently.
This is what my
apparently friends are
character would
next in
do,
line.
not me.
yeah. Oh, we pulled that one out. All right. The void approaches you. Given
I'm
the
gonna-
layout of the ship, now we established Rye and Skyland, you are on your way back towards your ship, which means you are moving towards the right-hand side of the ship, as it were. The
Mhm.
leftmost person among you currently is Nano.
Correct.
Oh, right, at the terminal, right.
Yes. The other voice comes back on and says, "Relieve me."
No.
I mean, that was kind of all that was left.
Yeah.
Can
Right.
What else
we
to say?
can we relieve you without taking over?
You must relieve me. Procedure must be followed.
Plain procedure.
Rewrite procedure?
Would you like to make a data check for me?
Which one of us?
The one who said rewrite procedure.
Okay,
Yeah,
go for it, level up,
I would
lady.
like to help with that check.
You may, because you're also still on the bridge, as you have not yet left it.
Yeah, my data's not that good. I wouldn't be any help anyway.
You can always assist whether or not you have.
That's
Good
true.
ones
or
Yeah.
not.
Well,
Yeah.
you're assisting each other already, so.
Yeah, I mean, are you? Yeah.
9.
Sorry.
Like Nano and I are the longest lived among us. So, or potentially longest lived among us. So
yeah,
yeah.
potentially is a good word to insert there.
I hate the way you said that, Di.
Thank you. I strive. What was your result, Nano?
29.
Well, you asked.
Holy. You do realize that you don't have much time because the void is approaching. And you dig into the code of the ship. You actually have to go past the ship's hard-coded security to find essentially the protocol codes for transfer of power, transfer of control. The security protocols are unknown to you. They're surprisingly, I would say you're familiar enough to note that they're surprisingly militaristic for what is a science vessel.
Oh.
But you do recognize the security protocols and you can rewrite them to essentially honestly, with a 29, you can rewrite them to be whatever the hell you want them to be. If you wanted to be as simple as allowing yourself to just take command of the vessel, you can do that. And if you want to just rewrite the protocol to something that agrees more with you than guessing, you can also do that. Yeah, you have control of the code because your modifiers are fucking ridiculous.
This is hard because we don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, but you can, at this point, reshape it to be anything you want.
Even our ship. Turn into our own ship. Upgrade.
Well, I mean, you can reshape the code, not the ship.
I know.
I'm just saying, before you start taking this into... I will say you need to move fast because the void is approaching.
You know what? I just take over. Why not? Let's see what happens.
Okay. You rewrite the code such that your own biometric signatures now become the access codes. And you make yourself captain of this ship. As you are doing this, there is a moment of protest. I do need a wisdom save from you again. Okay. I actually need this from everybody.
Okay.
Wisdom saving throw?
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20.
Ooh.
Nice. 16.
Huh?
3.
3.
Nat 20, 16, 13, 3. Okay, so that is half success, half failure. Helios and Nano. In the moment the code is altered, and this happens incredibly quickly, you're interfacing more or less directly with the system. Helios, you you actually feel this slightly differently. I'll get to that in a second. Nano, you you feel in your mind almost a spike. This final, like a moment of fury, because there's a realization of what you're doing, and the realization that you are not following protocol, you are breaking protocol and rewriting it, and this is so fundamentally wrong that you end up taking 6 points of psychic damage from the fact that something is railing against reality. And the same goes for Helios, except for you it's a slightly different sense. Aviara culture has a strong underpinning of ensuring stability, norms, rules. And you feel that more or less hitting you in your soul, that in the final moment of existence of what you now sense was also an Aviara, the final thing it knows is what to it seems like a breakdown and contravention of the natural order of things. And the anguish of that is extreme. And you do also take 6 points of psychic damage from that. You just experience it in a different way.
Okay. As a reaction to that psychic... Oh, sorry, 6 points?
Yes.
Why are you hurting me so much?
Oh, I'm barely touching you.
I know. As a reaction to that, Helios completely, like, unfamiliar with this situation, but understanding that, like, he was here because an Aviara sent this distress signal, but something... It's like there's a glitch in the system. As a reaction, Helios is casting Circuit Breaker.
Okay.
Circuit Breaker is a reaction, which I take in response to being damaged.
Mm-hmm.
It does damage to a creature, but in this case, that is not the main part of the spell. It also is each piece of magical technology within range is disabled until the end of my next turn.
Uh-huh.
Ooh. That's not good.
So, yeah, he has an instant. It is as whatever this is entering his mind. His body reacts, and there's just this weird pulse, and it isn't like whatever a space EMP is, but it's more like an electrical spark from him to the ship that basically is whatever this is trying to do, it cannot do.
Yep. The bridge goes dark. The controls are dead for 6 seconds. This is slightly distressing to you, Nano, as this means you are currently, for the next 6 seconds, unable to reverse thrust. You watch as the section of the bridge, like furthest to the right, not quite where you are, but furthest to the right, warps. One of the screens just kind of, in one moment, it's as you saw it, barely functional, kind of a little bit on the fritz, but like still clearly a screen that is connected to power. You blink, and it has like sunken in on itself, almost just collapsed because the internal structure has decayed and corroded to such a point that it cannot actually support this thing any longer. The bridge, as it is going into the void, is leaving existence and then returning to it older and older. Now, because this is only 6 seconds, I'm gonna give you a quick piloting roll. Although I will say, given that you have mostly a turn, the other two of you, you are aware that something has happened. You are aware of a change. You were also aware of like the psychic pressure of this, so you know something has occurred, and most likely your two buddies had something to do with it, because who else are you gonna blame?
Yeah.
So if you want to run to the bridge and try and help out, do something, please. You are welcome.
Yeah. I run
Right.
back to the bridge and
Same.
Yep.
when we get there, how do they look? Are they like
They're fine,
In
but
pain.
there's like maybe 10 feet between 10 feet between Nano and what is now the oldest looking part of this bridge that is 3.5 months old.
I want
Which-
to get as close to Nano as possible.
Okay. Yeah,
Like
you
I'm,
have
I'm
you
all
have,
up in your space.
You have a turn's worth of movement. You can easily get back there. We're not necessarily in turn order, but I'm trying to account for like how fast and how quickly you can move about this. So at, the screens are only out. Every bit of tech is out for a moment, as Helios instinctively reacts to what just happened and essentially interrupts the existence of technology in a brief radius. And then they flicker back on. The ship is moving towards the void. Everything that touches the void, you blink and it's older. Again. You in fact see the ship's log start to run damage reports from roughly 400 years in the future.
Turn.
Yeah,
Are you still?
at this
Yeah.
point, like I'm gonna grab onto somebody's shoulders and just move them away from the. I am moving and taking somebody with me in the direction away from the void. I don't
Yep.
know what else to do.
That's fine.
You know,
I
whoever's
assume-
closest to me, whether it's Nano or
Who wants to try and regain
Yeah.
control of the ship's engines is the question.
Pilot.
Captain,
I'm just a
you took
sensor guy.
over.
Well, yeah. Were you still waiting for my piloting?
If you want to be the
Those
one doing the
makes me
piloting,
nervous,
yes,
I will offer assistance.
absolutely you are allowed to.
Been doing on this ship. Let's go.
Nat 20.
Ooh.
Okay.
I wish I had a camera to show all these rolls. I don't know what happened today.
Amazing.
I like how we have had several fantastically low ones, and then you're just up there with ridiculous numbers.
I was gonna say I started off the game with a 2, so we've run the gamut.
Yeah, mind you,
We'll never throw you away.
you're also the only one who had a 0. So
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
yeah, the universe doth balance. You have 0 issues. You've rewritten the base security code of the ship. You have access to everything. Like, you know, you could make the computer metaphorically dance a conga if you wanted to. So it is no problem at all for you to immediately fire retro boosters. It's a weird thing in that the ship tells you that where the boosters are to essentially reverse direction, which would be on the side moving towards the void. The ship tells you those don't exist. You still send the command along the lines and wires, and they do reach a destination. About half of those destinations don't fire, because they tell you that the fuel evaporated about 300 years ago from now. But enough of them do fire that you arrest the movement and then begin to reverse it. As you do, as you begin to, the entire ship begins to pull out again of this void. There are 2 warnings that flash up of eroded and degraded hulls compressing and buckling under pressure. Or rather, sorry, not buckling under pressure, the opposite, decompressing. So you have explosive decompression in 2 sections of the ship as they emerge, because they've just gotten too old and haven't been taken care of. You also note, because you now have security access to everything, you note that within the captain's logs, there's one other log. It is the mission statement.
I play it for the crew. For everyone else, I mean.
We're definitely not this crew. Yeah, no, that's not us.
No crew. You play the mission statement, which is audio only, and says, null zones known within the galaxy, unknown within science. Null zones exist. They also do not exist. Null zones are a contradiction in that they are nothing, and yet into them can go something. Where a null zone exists, we do not know. The potential thereof cannot be ignored. A dark matter engine may allow traversal of the galaxy with hours rather than weeks. If a null zone were to displace rather than erase, what potential may it hold? This ship sets forth for the first ever cataloging of null zones, of their behavior, of their scientific properties, and of their potential as location-to-location connections. May we all succeed. The ship then queries where you would like to go. It also queries if you could define location.
Open ship dock to other ship.
You hear the whooshing of the door open. It once again asks you to confirm location as it is reading 2 separate coordinates.
I quickly tell everyone to get off. Run for it.
All right.
You got it. Are you not coming?
Like
I-
like Helios hangs at the exit to the bridge, like waiting.
Like, are you on it?
Waiting for you.
I would like to grab Nano. Like,
Yeah, like
pulling Nano with us.
we gotta. If you're gonna do the thing, we gotta go.
Yeah.
I was just trying to save everyone.
Yeah,
I was
everyone
like the only way to
includes
open the
you.
door, right?
Ohana
you.
means family. Everyone includes you.
You're coming with us. Can't you just tell the computer to like, okay, hold on a second now, I'll be right back, and then you run back to the ship with the rest of us?
I'm scared if I tell it to go somewhere, it's just gonna straight up go there with everyone on board, and then everyone's stuck.
Oh, sorry, I may have been unclear. It's asking you to define its present location because it is reading 2 locations for its present location.
Okay, I thought it was saying where we should go next.
I don't know.
Do I have the only person who has that is
I'm standing right next to you. I can give
Oh.
it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can
Like,
give you the coordinates again.
go for it.
Again, like you Nano have unlocked the ship, which means more or less everyone can just access. You control the ship. If you say this person has access, they now have access. That's you relieved. Skylin, as you input the coordinates, you realize that what it's asking you to do is choose between the 2 sets of coordinates that it's given. One set of coordinates corresponds to your current location with the present date. The lone functioning sensor array on the left-hand side of the ship, the only one still operational, is registering a sector roughly 4,000 light years away, 357 years in the future.
I really want to pick the wrong one.
Whatever gets us out of here.
I'm not going to say anything out loud, but I am going to choose the one in the future.
Do we get hazard pay for this?
You're already on hazard pay.
Talk to your captain.
Can we get paid? Like,
Okay.
My captain just took over
In
the ship.
in the interest
Anyway.
of fairness, I would like you to roll a sleight of hand check to see if you can hide what you're doing from everyone else. This is going to be an interesting roll because this will very much affect the outcome.
14.
I'm gonna ask an outright question here. Does any one of you suspect that Skylin might be up to something? Would any of you have any reason to be suspicious at this point?
No.
Okay.
No.
What is everyone's passive perception? Which is to say, just 10 plus your wisdom modifier. Or,
12.
sorry, 10 plus your perception modifier.
Oh.
12.
12.
21.
You have an 11 perception modifier?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, just 12.
What's yours, level up, lady?
Oh, sorry. 11.
11, okay. Well, none of you are actively suspicious, which means none of you would be actively checking, and none of you are passively noticing what's being done.
I can't with you, Dame. I really can't.
Oh boy, this is the
I
worst.
wrote my character to be a lot like me, and that is absolutely what I do. I'm kind of sorry.
This is the worst ending. You enter a set of coordinates. Actually, I said 4,000 light years. It's actually a lot longer than that. Like, we're talking, it's nearly on the other end of the galaxy. And the ship says, coordinates confirmed. Welcome to Zeta Rhi 37 Pi. And the void expands to include you all.
That's not great. It's not good.
Are we conscious of this?
Yes, in the sense of
gone?
you
We all
feel,
cease to exist?
No, you feel a shift. And I'm gonna just narrate this because this is now, there is unfortunately no coming back from this. You have more or less caused a breakdown in reality. Which is, none of you cease to exist. You simply, you realize, yeah, null zones may kind of do what they're expected to do. It's just not instantaneous. The surroundings outside you are immediately different. You're looking at a sector of space you've never seen before. You see distant stars and constellations and arrangements that none of you are familiar with. Maybe the most studious of you might have once upon a time glanced upon these in charts, but nothing more than that. But you cannot change your position. You enter a new location and you more or less tell the ship to move, perhaps. Like, once the realization is there that you're in a different sector entirely, well, then maybe you want to get underway. And the closest object, you calculate its distance, perhaps, I would say probably from your own ship, because this one is, or the derelict is barely holding together. And your own ship travels there. And after 3 days, you've barely moved. The problem with the null zone is not whether or not it exists. It is not whether or not it will take you somewhere instantaneously. The question is, will you be able to get out of it before your time runs out? And entering the wrong coordinates has left you facing that reality. And that's not an ending I was expecting to tell.
Huh?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
All right. Okay. Hmm.
You, like the ship you entered, like the crew that was on it before you, are moving through the molasses of space, as I'm going to call it. That is why part of the ship was there and why part of it wasn't. Most of the ship had already managed to free itself after about 200 years. The rest was still on the way, slowly getting behind. You have instantly traveled to the other side of the galaxy, but that small pocket of space is not going to let you go anytime soon.
Aww.
You know, I was gonna end this with a description of the derelict sort of breaking apart and you watching as ever older sections of it begin to emerge, but this is also an interesting...
Is there like a break room on this ship? Can we get some food or something?
You've got a rec room.
Can we cheers our way out at least?
Honestly.
I like how I tried to save everyone, and James like hold my beer.
I love that you came back to try and save Nano and then you doomed the crew.
Lovely.
Whoopsies!
Yeah. Oops.
I could absolutely jump into a black hole though. So like
Yeah, clearly.
just to
Oh
see.
boy.
It's
Just
fine.
see.
It's science.
Big science.
Testing things.
Not how science works, but okay.
Yeah, no, okay,
I
so
mean, I should probably come up with a theory first, but
definitely an unexpected ending.
Wow.
This is not how I expected to pull the final curtain back, but I guess that's one way to do it.
Is this how Wookie Cookie D&D streams? Like, TTR? Is this just how it's gonna be? Like, just death every single time?
Why?
I mean,
didn't
I
die
mean,
last time, didn't
I was counting on, like, I
we
was
did
counting on
end the
teamwork.
world with the last one. Yeah, we
but
like.
that was my
they?
fault.
Didn't catch the last one.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, no, the last one I ended the world. That was fun.
yeah.
that was fun to watch too.
Oh, God, I feel bad
It
about
was
it.
so good.
I hope I
Apparently-
hope you feel guilt.
No, I don't think that.
No, probably not.
A little.
Not a whit.
Tiny.
I hope not, but
Tiny.
Also
like, how to put this? I saw the glint in your eyes and thought, what if?
I lost a D20.
Oh no.
Hey,
later.
you'll step on it
Get the
eventually.
rabbit
It's
from
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on that somewhat unexpected note of ending, of rather than a monumental discovery that can now be reported to the scientific world, who knows? Maybe one day you'll be the monumental discovery.
Just Helios just starts making logs at this point. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
You gotta. Shall we do some quick outros? Yes, we shall. The question is mostly which order shall we go in? Let's go in. I only just realized that I actually put y'all in alphabetical order on, like, whether you go clockwise or counterclockwise. You're either in alphabetical or counter-alphabetical order. This is annoying me right now.
Discord automatically does it.
Yeah, Discord does that by username. Yeah.
Yes, but I also did it on the overlay.
Oh,
Okay.
Which is stupid, because I try to avoid that specifically so I can randomize. You know what? I'm gonna roll a d4 and we'll see what comes up. Hey, that says Dame. You get to do your outro first.
I don't know what to say. Hi. Bye. Dame Darling. I just TPK'd the team. Kind of. Because we're not dead yet.
Sort of.
Variety streamer. Hopefully doing more of this.
Yeah,
A lot more of this soon.
I hope so. Let's roll the next one. That gives me Brian.
Hi, I'm Brian, aka Urban Bohemian on the internet. You can find me on Twitch tomorrow morning, twitch.tv/Urban Bohemian. Otherwise, just generally being in a lot of charity one-shots and loud on the internet with a lot of opinions about Generation 1 Transformers cartoon. So, there you go.
That and a lot of terrible jokes.
I do not tell terrible
Those are
jokes.
Not
Ears just
terrible.
hear them incorrectly.
Uh-huh. All right, let's see. This is rolling the same result over and over. Give me someone who isn't Brian. Okay, that says Thom. You're next.
Hi, Thom. I stream here on Twitch. Not for months now, but only Thom will tell. And I'm usually Thom Simonson on all the other social spaces. I had a good time tonight, a great time tonight, right up until the point where I ceased to exist. And who
You're
knows,
still-
maybe there'll be a next time
You're still existing, just out of sync.
in the liminal spaces.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my deal.
Yeah. And that leaves just one person, which is Level Up Lady.
Hello, I'm Level Up Lady. I stream indie games, usually Thursday nights right now. We're playing through Zelda right now, and that's I don't even know what to say either. Just that playing robots is hard. That was really hard, but I had fun doing it.
Well, let me ask you a question. How does a Vect feel about the possibility of just aging? Question mark?
So it's going to be sad to watch everyone else slowly pass away. But then as a Vect, once I hit, millions and millions of years from now, apparently my mental capacity will slowly go away as well. So
Charming.
No, I mean, the lucky break for you is that, as near as you can tell from the previous logs, the ship only took nearly 200 years to re-emerge.
Ooh, so you might come back.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty okay with this.
So 500 years from now, in say 12 hours, you'll be okay again. I love messing with time. This isn't even the most complex time plot I've invented. It's fine.
No, I don't want to hear that. My brain is melting.
Let me run you through the scenario at sometime where I have a past and present and future, and all of them can change each other.
Oh yeah, that sounds great.
It's fun. And I guess that means I have to say something about myself, which means I will say that I am Diane. I am Balrog1911. I basically just I stream occasionally. Lately, it's been with the fellow Wookie cookies doing one-shots, which has been wonderful to get back into again. Last time we ended the world, today we caused a scientific anomaly that will be discovered many years from now. That's a lot of fun. I hope to do this again. I hope we have a slightly more joyful outcome next time. And yeah, that's I don't know. I don't really have much more to say.
I want to say
Thank
thank you to you.
Yes.
No.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Absolutely beautifully done. I
Yes.
had a blast. This was
Good time.
just I don't know how to explain it. This is my first time playing D&D where I've had way more story driven than anything else, and it was gorgeous. I love it.
Well, we did say we wanted more of like environmental challenges and puzzles, so I tried to go with that.
And also thank you to everybody again in chat who donated to World Central Kitchen.
Much
Yes.
appreciated. Thank you
you
so
for
much.
that. It is. I was gonna say it is, but it was a charity that was often overlooked. It has thankfully gained a bit more support and popularity for, unfortunately, the worst of reasons in recent years with the ramping up of conflicts and disasters worldwide. But as I said when we came back from break, I consider it one of the most brave and important charities out there. So even if we're ending the stream, keep World Central Kitchen in your mind, and if you can spare something, consider tossing it towards them. I actually want to raid a stream, but Twitch is not letting me know whether or not the person I want to raid is online. So, permit me a brief second in which OBS has once again glitched despite me not tabbing out of it. Nope. Okay. In that case, I thought somebody in particular was online, but is not. So we're gonna skip the raid and just say good night for now. Hopefully,
I'll be live in a half hour.
Oh well, there you
There
go. Pop over to Dame in half an hour, because for Dame it is not 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my last roll of the day by accidentally tossing a die. I'll step on that one later. Take care. Thanks everyone.
Have a great night.
Toodaloo.
Thank you.
Good night.